Hey Stephen, how's it going? Boy, is it windy outside. I don't know whether it's windy outside where you are, but it's definitely windy outside here. I mean, look how windy it is. It's so windy that an empty bin blew over and nobody has bothered to pick it up. And that's a plough. So, Apple Juice JD commented this. Ha! Love doing that. Makes it look as though we always get lots of comments. Which we don't. We don't, because we're not that cool. Most people look at it on Facebook, which is unfortunate. I presume we don't get the views on Facebook onto our channel. I presume that doesn't happen like that, which is unfortunate, because I get a lot of people watching my videos on Facebook when I post them on there. So if you're watching this video on Facebook, stop watching this video on Facebook, click through to the YouTube link and watch it on YouTube instead. Thanks. You don't actually have to do that. I mean, feel free to. So anyway, Heather, who is Apple Juice Jade Deer, am I saying that right? I don't know. Anyway, she commented that, so I'm going to see if I can attempt to do this, which is great, because I had very little to vlog about today. I was going to vlog about how you can't channel creativity, and I was going to make some sort of discourse about that. Incidentally, I think that's more of the reasons why most of my videos are long. Admittedly, the last one was probably long because of sparsity, but I think that usually videos are quite long because I'm trying to do some kind of discourse, cross-reference the procrastination video. Also, I can't talk very quickly. I can't talk as fast as Hank Green. And anyway, who's to say that we were following a Vlogbrothers model? I mean, why do we need a model to follow? So, I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it shocked me to find that there's no Wikipedia page. And this is the first thing that I've looked up on Wikipedia that hasn't had a Wikipedia page, is the English educational system. There's stuff on the educational system in Sweden, Marlin. There's stuff on the education system in Mexico, but there's no stuff on the educational system in England, so I'm going to have to do this from scratch. I'm probably going to get some stuff wrong, so bear with me. Anyway, I made a chart. So just to keep in mind, while you're looking at this chart, this is a general formula. So that means that you start school at 5 and you end school at 18, meaning that the years go from 0 or reception, depending on what school you're in, through to year 13. And of course this is all rule of thumb, because you don't technically need to attend school in your 17th and 18th years on this earth. And obviously there are exceptions, like people who move forward a year, people who move back a year, but usually people don't get held back more than 1 or 2 years. Also, this stops at higher education, obviously, because anyone can enroll at universities, and anyone can go back to college to do various A-levels. So this is just a rule of thumb for you to try and get in your head where we are age-wise. So we start off on reception and year 1 and year 2, and these are generally regarded as preparatory years. What's important to note about the rule of thumb that I just introduced was that you turn that age during the school year. So if my birthday is in August, which it happens to be, in year 1 I would have turned 6 in August of that year, so essentially before the next September, which is when our term starts again. But for the entirety of the academic year I would have remained 5. Which is why it can throw some people off. You just need to remember that you turn that age during the academic year, which I mean September through to August. And then we get junior school, what is generally called junior school. It's important to note that wherever your child is on this educational system, whenever they make a leap between 2 of these brackets, you're always going to say, you're moving up to big school now, aren't you? So the message to take away from that is, what I'm calling these is just what I know them in my experience, and I didn't necessarily go to the same kind of system of schooling as everyone else did. Also, I don't claim to be an expert on all the educational system in this country. So, of course, here you're going to be turning 11 during that year. I attended year 6 in 2001 to 2002, which meant that I was in year 6 when 9/11 happened, just to keep it topical, since that's on everyone's minds right now, or it seems to be. And yeah, I was 10 because I turned 11 August that year, and I don't remember much at all. But no one gives a crap what I remember, because frankly it's not relevant at all. So, moving on. 5 years, is that all it is? Looking back, it seems like more than 5 years. Anyway, these 5 years are senior school, and at this stage you're 16, and during these 2 years now you do what we call GCSEs, which is a General Certificate of Secondary Education. That's where compulsory education ends. That's how much the government requires you to have, I'm fairly sure. I think recently there has been talk of moving that age up to 18, but I'm not sure whether it happened or not. If I'm wildly ignorant and that did happen, please do let me know in the comments. I just typed 18 into Wikipedia and then was confused why it didn't come up with the thing that I wanted. What it came up with was a discourse on the number 18. Year 18 was a common year starting on Saturday. So there we are, now we know. Of the Julian calendar. At the time it was known as the year of the consulship of Augustus and Caesar. Wow, that's years ago. And the way that I was schooled, you started to get more choices about what you wanted to actually do at year 9. Even as far back as this, you're starting to make choices that will define the rest of your educational life. And the GCSEs do matter. A lot of people think, oh, your GCSEs don't matter because you could do anything after that. But, I mean, the way that I was educated, the GCSEs do matter because they determined what A-levels you could go on and do. And whatever A-levels you go on and do can determine what degree you go on and do. And then, you know, that was supposed to be the aim of this entire educational system. So I suppose that's the equivalent of a high school certificate, those GCSEs, the General Certificate of Secondary Education. So this is where it starts getting interesting. College. I attended a sixth form college and did A-levels. Why are they called A-levels? Because formerly GCSEs were called O-levels, meaning ordinary level of knowledge, and this meaning advanced level of knowledge. Although, frankly, if you ask me, that seems a bit excessive. You can do A-levels in anything from astrology and astronomy through to zoology, and most times you can find a institution that will offer you the A-level of your choice. It might not be very nearby, but they exist somewhere. Now, A-levels take 2 years to do, and when I was doing my A-levels, the norm was to take 4 A-levels to AS, and drop one of those when you went into A2 level. So the AS level is sort of slightly more than half of an A level. And then the A2 level is the full A level. So at AS level I took critical thinking and classical civilizations, and then the 3 subjects I took to A2 level were theatre studies, English literature and religious studies, which is where I picked up my passion for philosophy and why I'm now doing that at degree level. The next thing along that is quite common to do is the IB, which stands for International Baccalaureate, which is a bit like the GCSEs in that you do a lot of subjects. Oh right, yeah, I didn't really actually explain the GCSEs at all, did I? Hang on, let me just go back and do that. Now, the GCSEs, you take lots of subjects, probably about 9 or 10, maybe even 11 now, and those are graded from F, fail. Well, they're actually graded from U, which is ungradable, which is like an uber fail, F through to A star, and those are the grades, A star obviously being the highest, and you usually take about 10 or 11. This is recently changed. In fact, it's always changing. The government is always like, we need to assess the issues at the heart of the GCSEs and the heart of the education of the country, and so they're always changing the curriculum. I mean, when I did it, we took all our exams in year 11 and we just had mocks in year 10, but Clayton just did it, my brother, and it's now a lot more modular, and they had exams in year 10 and in year 11, and that's the GCSE. So back to the International Baccalaureate. The International Baccalaureate is somewhat like the GCSEs, only a bit more hardcore. It's sort of like someone took the GCSEs and turned the difficulty up to veteran mode and turned the HUD off. You have to take a modern language, and you're usually studying about 6 or 7 subjects, and they all count towards points, and then your points count towards getting the qualification as a whole, much like in university. Then there's a thing called a BTEC, commonly called a BTEC, which stands for British Technology and Education Council, I believe. Level 1 being the lowest, level 3 being the highest. Well, not actually being the highest, because then there are diplomas beyond that, but for the purposes of what I'm doing here, level 3 will be the highest. Level 1 is equivalent to several GCSEs, level 2 is equivalent to several GCSEs at a higher level, and level 3 is equivalent to several A-levels. And so quite a common thing to be doing now is to be doing a, well, I say common because I know lots of my friends who do it. They've done a BTEC in performance arts, which is highly preferable because not very many places offer drama or theatre studies A-levels. In fact, the school that I did theatre studies A-level, it's now more or less died out at. Because nobody wants to take that choice. So when you're doing performing arts, you usually go for a BTEC performing arts. I would say that's, or the A-level drama, but like I say, that's a lot less common. Now there is another route here that I added in on the GCSEs that we follow down here, and it's a thing that the last government that we had here has been pushing massively, called apprenticeships, that they're calling them, and an apprenticeship is exactly what it does on the tin. It's an apprenticeship. You usually get 3 certificates that you have to do to put this entire apprenticeship up. The first one is the technical certificate, which is usually a written exam. The NVQ, which I have no idea what that stands for, it's probably now very qualified, that's what it stands for, and that shows that you can actually do the job on the side. And the ERR, which shows that you have an understanding of what it takes to, you know, be an employee and work in a team and understand workplace law, basically. So this is approximately what it looks like at the moment. These are, you probably can't read that, that's 17 and that's 18, and these are years 12 and 13, they're usually called when you're studying A-levels or the International Baccalaureate. So you're 17 and you're 18 when you're studying them. The BTECs you can apply at college, you know, at any age, as you can with the A-levels and the IBs as well. It's just most people don't because it costs money. The apprenticeships you can do at any age as well, I would have thought, but from my understanding it tends to be younger people because the government tends to be, you know, pushing, let's get these young people jobs, young people who otherwise be on the streets rioting. At this point, of course, there's university, which is, you know, any other piece of higher education you can want. It's been pointed out to me recently that you can get a degree in mostly anything, including Beckham studies. That's right, that's the studies of David Beckham. The golf centre management, something like that, or philosophy even. Who would want a degree in that? I'd just put drama schools down there as well, just to point out that drama schools are on a sort of university level. You do come out with the same qualification as a 3-year undergraduate scheme, which is a BA in acting. And in fact, I don't think you can do a PhD in acting, and I think it's the only degree that I've found, or rather the only area of degree that I've found that you can't do a PhD in. So, what does UCAS stand for here? UCAS is the Universities and Colleges Admissions Service in the UK, and what it does is it standardises all of the qualifications that have come previously, all right back to your GCSEs, including your A-levels and your IB and your BTEC. And it standardises these into a simple, easy-to-read number called UCAS points, which sort of boils your entire education prior to this down to a number so that people can look at it and go, hey, this person's good, or hey, we don't want this person at the university. So, you know, a certain score in your IB will be worth a certain number of UCAS points, a certain score in various A-levels, a certain number of UCAS points, and it's more or less standardised so that the same level of qualification tends to apply across the board, depending on how well you did, of course. But even so, still in university in England, A-levels are the most common way to get into university. And these UCAS applications usually happen in about December of your final year. That's year 13 of school. The reason I've separated drama schools from this is because drama schools are almost unique in higher educational facilities in that they don't actually require any previous qualification at all. Just what they would say is just talent is all we require. So now here we have the series of degrees you can get. These here being undergraduate degrees. Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Law, things like this. Of course, if you're doing the law degree, you then go into law and study under the company that you're working for until you actually become a licensed lawyer. And those are all undergraduate degrees. And then next you have postgraduate degrees, which is a master's degree first, which usually takes about a year. Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Engineering, Master of Philosophy there, etc., etc. I mean, depending on what your degree course is. And then you knock on the door of human knowledge with the PhD, which is actually whatever you do, that always stands for philosophical doctor. Of course, the other thing is MD, but I haven't even bothered putting that on here because, frankly, you could study 3 years here, 1 year here, and if you're extremely, fast and good at what you did, you could even do this in 1-2 years. That would have taken you 6 years to get to this point. 6 years of university to get to that point. And someone who went in at the same time if you still wouldn't have graduated with their MD, which House has, House MD, which would take you 7 years of study, usually, to get. I'm pretty sure that's right. And a lot of people don't know as well is that the PhD is actually a junior doctorate. You have higher doctorates, most notably DLITT. That's put down here as, which is a Doctor of Letters. Or a DSc, which is a Doctor of Science, and these are all granted on the recommendation of a committee of examiners, so you tend to be a professor already before you get those qualifications. They're sort of honorary things. And there is the last 16 years of my life in a very easy to understand chart. I don't really know how it's got. I mean, I don't remember reception. All I remember about year 1 and 2 is the fact that I got bullied a lot, and that's all I remember about that. And then I moved to Henry's here. I stayed with Henry's all the way through to here, and then I went to the University of Birmingham here. So, frankly, I live in a bit of a bubble as things go. So, if I've got any of this wrong, do let me know, and I will cry into my tea. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's been a bit helpful for you. If not, then oh well. I had nothing else to vlog about anyway. So, apart from the fact that football season started, and that was fun. Alright, peace off.